When I was planning this video, I was gonna make it super jokey. But then I realized that if I made it into a joke, it would lessen the worries that I have and that I think a lot of other people have right now in the early 20s and perhaps later on as well. But right now I'm in the final year of university and there are a lot of things that are whizzing by my mind right now that you might relate to too. There is a certain worry of what is going to happen next. I don't think I've truly felt the meaning of adulthood until this year. Throughout my first 2 years and my year in the USA, it felt super relaxed. The games are just games. You would always work hard, but you knew the next steps that was going to happen. Of course, there was still a lot of stress, and I'm very prone to stress, but of a different kind. There is an uncertainty which I haven't experienced before. It reminds me of the feeling of when I used to walk along the beach when I was a kid. There are photos of me with all my family and friends, and over a period of time there'll be less and less people in the picture. Even though people have changed, people have grown up, the place always remains the same. And even though you still feel like the kid, you suddenly have to grow up and pretend, well, on the outside, that you know what's going on, but in reality you're still scared of the future. It's a strange thought to realize that you're an adult with responsibilities when previously you'll just go with the flow. Especially now when I'm in my 4th year, there are so many possibilities of what I can do, but at the same time the infinite possibilities is super scary. When I was younger, I expected at this point I would know exactly what I wanted to do. I thought I'd be more clever, I thought I would understand more about the world, and I thought I would be super happy about everything. And of course, that was never going to happen. But as a kid, that was my expectation and what was built up. When you go through things in your life, sometimes you feel like your heart is getting chipped away ever so slightly. But you always have to remember to try and not to be jaded and look at the positive side, even though it may be difficult. There's also the fear, especially in final year of university, that you're not good enough. Of course, no one around you really cares because everyone has their own worries, but inside you fear that you're going to disappoint people. It's also a weird thought when you're on a path and you've always been on that path, and then you realise that maybe it wasn't the path that you're meant to be on. Perhaps you don't feel fulfilled, but at the same time you still feel grateful about all the opportunities and all the experiences that you had. There's always been a route to go down. You always know the next possible thing, and everyone remains in a sort of pack. Now as you get older, everyone is going about their own things and doing their own stuff. And of course that's the case. And we've known that for a long time. But I think this year is definitely highlighted that. And even though you have a lot of people around you and a lot of people that you can chat to, there's still a sense of loneliness just because everyone is worried about their own things. As I said before, everything when you're younger was a game, but now the games have consequences. You start thinking more about relationships, about the people that you're going to spend your time with in the future. Even though the future is a strange place right now. The future feels like a mist, where before you believed you knew what was going on, but the further and further you get towards the future, the less you really know. The other major thing is to try to learn from my mistakes, but also to know that failure is common, and to try to not lose myself when I encounter the failure. I know that throughout my life, a lot of the time I'll fail at many things if I want to try to achieve something. However, it still hurts the same, and at a certain point I'll have to learn how to deal with it. Even though people say not to compare yourself to others, people often do anyway. And you see people with hobbies and ambitions outside of uni, or people that just know what they want to do or are super passionate about the route that they're in now. And then you look at yourself and you wonder if you're even on the right path. And of course it's better not to compare, but there's always this strange thought of, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Is this the right move? And a fear that if I made the wrong choice, I can't go back from it. Even though I know that if you have the right mindset, you can really do anything. To a certain extent, it's strange because you have to keep up with all the university work while also trying to figure out what you want to do in the future and keep up with friendships. It's difficult to do all of these things and to keep afloat, and especially now as it's November and I can't grow a beard, so this is my contribution, that all of this stuff is important. The main thing is to care about yourself, your mental health, and to make sure that you are doing okay. Because even if you get all of the riches and everything that you ever wanted, I don't think that if you're not doing mentally well, that you'll be able to enjoy all of that stuff. But just know that even if you are having a bad time, a bad day or a bad week, that at some point it will improve. And if you just keep chugging along, and to get help when you need it, there is absolutely no shame. And at the end of the day, this is your life and you're the only one that can dig yourself out of the hole, as sad as it is to say. And at some point you'll be able to have the best of times. And just know that there's always the next day and the next, and that even though you may feel behind, you can always do what you can, especially not to compare yourself to others, but what you can to make yourself happy and to choose a path that you'll enjoy and not what others will. Thank you for watching this video. I know it's been a bit more serious than the rest of them, but I thought that it was important to just talk about it. So thank you. See you later.